Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 519 and it has been brought to you by Ice Storms. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Wednesday, the 10th of February. Laura and I both live in Mississippi, and it's been predicted strongly that we're going to get an ice storm here, which is not something we get frequently. The last significant one we got was in 1994.
Can I tell you how many times today I've heard about the Great Storm of 1994? And they're like, you remember? And I was like, no, I was in Pittsburgh.
It was very significant because, we don't have the infrastructure here, to handle super, cold, severe weather, and people were without power. So it was significant. I mean, I know my family was without power for over a week back then, but of course now Michael's got the generator and he had me go fill up gas cans today. And, we've got our emergency preparedness and all that. And I don't think it's going to be that serious, but,
I thought about putting gas in my car and then I didn't. I have half a tank.
You're fine.
Yeah, like growing up in Pittsburgh or even Buffalo, it was like you always keep it above a quarter, then it won't freeze. So I'm fine. I told my boss today that he might come to work and I might be living there with my dog.
She would be able to roam the halls. She would be so happy.
Oh, she would be so happy.
You'd be able to hear her coming a mile away too.
Oh yeah. I would take her little like ball thing that she has that she can chase. I would roll that sucker down a hallway and it would be on. Like that would be Pearl's best life. Yeah. She would never go upstairs though.
Yeah. Stairs are her mortal enemy.
They are. Good thing I live in a house with 0 stairs. And my parents don't have stairs.
Yeah. I'm sure that was intentional when Wheezy picked that.
Yeah, it was. It's a retirement house. They're talking about redoing their bathroom and putting in like a wheelchair accessible bathtub type situation, like a wheel-in shower.
Yeah. Both of them are perfectly mobile. They're just planning ahead.
Yeah, they want to do it now while they are mobile. I told them they could wait till after the pandemic's over to have people in their house.
Probably a good idea.
We'll see. But anyway, Pearl's back. I don't know what she thinks is going to happen.
Pearl is Laura's dog, for anybody who's new.
She is. If she was a small child, I would still ignore her. Probably. Oh, this is why I don't have kids, y'all.
I feel like that's not true.
So, what is on your needles? Or would you like me to go first? You have a hook.
I do have a hook. You are super observant. No, I can go. I don't have a whole lot on my needles or my hook right now. This week, I have primarily been crocheting. I have done a little bit of knitting, but mostly I've been crocheting. I spun some at Laura's this weekend, but it's still there and it still needs to be plied, so I'm not counting it. So what I've mostly been working on is this Granny Goes Large square.
Ooh, that's cute.
This is out of Stylecraft DK, which is 100% acrylic. Got it at lovecrafts.com. And I've almost got all the colors in it. I think it's got 2 more colors. One is like a violet and one is like a duck egg blue.
Ooh.
So after I do a round of each of those, and then I repeat the pattern, and then it's like a half of another pattern. So it's just around and around a granny square. It's nothing fancy. But
do you know who that's going to go to? Is it staying with you?
This might actually stay with me because of the way that it's constructed and the drape, like the gauge that I'm getting, It's actually pretty drapey. It's not real stiff like some crochet blankets can be. So I'm pretty happy with it. I think this might stay with me. This might stay with me and go like on the back of a sofa or something.
Is
So
Kobe still liking his other
yeah,
crochet blanket?
yeah. So far as I can tell, I mean, it's still on his bed. Um, so, and ever since my sister cleaned out his room, which was so disgusting, but ever since she cleaned out his room and like rearranged his furniture, he's been keeping his room clean. Like his door's
Why?
open most of the time now, so I can like poke my head in and be like, how you doing? Sometimes he's got like a can of soda or a leftover cup, but usually he just brings it down with him every time he comes
That's
downstairs.
awesome.
Yeah, it
Good job,
is.
Kobe. Way
He's
to be
better.
grown.
Room's cleaner than my room. Um, the
Probably
other
mine as well.
the other thing that I'm working on, I haven't made a ton of progress on it this week, but I also haven't shown it before. So this is a new sweater that I cast on that is swatch. So I don't need that to be right there. So this is called Chance of Showers, and it is by Heidi Vermeer.
Oh, cool.
So it's just sort of a light, kind of hip length, well, cropped waist length, short sleeve cardi. It's nice and drapey. And I'm knitting this out of some Sunday Knits, which is Carol Sunday's yarn line.
Yeah.
And it is a woolen spun, beautiful yarn. This is as far as I've gotten. It's cast on at the back of the neck, and you do some short rows. You do a whole bunch of short rows. So I'm not very far into it, maybe 2 inches at the widest point. But I'm enjoying it. The yarn is great to work with. I'm
What's the
alternating.
composition of that yarn?
It's 100% wool.
Okay.
It's um, a 3-ply sport weight wool, but it's super light, so it makes me happy. I've been wanting to try this forever. And one of our lovely viewers, Shauna, she was doing sort of a purge, and I asked her for this. So that's basically what I've got on my needles and my hooks. What about you?
So I have two things that I've really been actively working on this week. One of which is a sock. So it's the Mordor Fun Run colorway from Mustache Yarn, and I'm knitting it on size 0 needles. And then this dark blue at the top is a solid that I got from Vesper Yarns, Knitterly Things. So I had bought like a half skein, maybe a little over a half skein. I think it was a half skein though from Mustache because the colors line up pretty well. And so I cranked 2 tubes on our Speedster sock machine. And I am using the contrast like navy blue yarn to put in heels, toes, and a cuff. So I've knit a little bit on this on my size 0 needles. This orange at the very bottom, that's waist yarn that'll come out. Then I'll knit the toe, and then I will place a heel. Um, so yeah, so that's the first thing that's on the needles. And then the second thing that's on the needles is a blanket that I started out of hand spun, and it's all squished up, so it's kind of hard to see. But it is a circular blanket called Twinkle Twinkle by Helen Stewart. And it actually, the blanket pattern comes in 2 different weights. It comes in a fingering weight and a DK weight. And I am knitting this out of some hand spun fingering weight, superwash merino that I spun out of Nest Yarns, Nestlings. She sells like little bits and bobs that are superwash. So I have around 1,000 yards. I think I spun this and applied it on my starling earlier this year. So I have around 1,000 yards, and I'm knitting this on size 4 needles. I went down a couple needle size. I think it originally called for 6s, but I do have a little bit extra yarn because it just calls for 800 yards. So I might go a couple repeats bigger depending on sizing. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's a nice, simple pattern that still has some texture to it. It has this little textured stitch. that occurs every 6 rows. So there is, and then you're also increasing every other row. So there is some stuff going on with it, but not like a large amount of stuff. So I think it'll be the perfect baby blanket for what I need it to be.
And
so those are the
longtime
two
viewers
things.
might find the name of this familiar, right? Because you've knit it before.
I've not knitted Twinkle Twinkle before.
I
Nope.
thought you had.
Nope. Becca Woolperogi has a bunch of times, and so have some other friends, but
Yeah,
I've never knit one.
I thought you had. Okay.
I don't knit a ton of baby blankets. I've knit bounce a couple times, and I've knit just plain garter ones a couple times.
Yeah.
But I don't do a ton of patterned baby blankets. So this and bounce are really the two that I've done in the last couple of years, and I've never knit this one before that I can recall. Someone will find show notes somewhere saying that I have, but
I could swear you
I don't
had, but it might
remember.
just be like something that you were considering doing and then changed your mind.
Yeah, I've considered it a bunch of times. I thought about doing it out of some Full Misa DK before. The bright yellow that I have of that, but I just had not done it yet. And I feel like the superwash fingering weight 2-ply yarn would be a fun thing. And one of my goals for the year is to knit more with my hand spun.
Yeah.
So I want to knit like 16 projects with my hand spun. So this is a good start. I actually have already knit this year 1, 2. This will be my 3rd project out of my hand spun. So that's pretty good.
If your goal is 16, you should probably choose smaller projects versus an 800-yard baby blanket.
Project. But the cowl, or not the cowl, but like the neck headband thing that I did, the headband, that was a fairly small project. That was 150 yards.
Did that
and
block out, or?
I have not blocked it yet.
Okay. I was just curious if it grew at all.
I wove in the ends on 2 sweaters. That was my battery pack that just fell that I'm trying to get charged. I wove in the ends on 2 sweaters and blocked those. So this did not get blocked, but I might do it tonight. I'm trying to get everything like washed, and like my dishwasher is running right now. I have clothes in the washer that need to go in the dryer because, if we don't have power for 10 days, I'm still going to have to wear clothing.
Yeah.
So, and eat off of dishes. So I'm trying to get stuff like that taken care of.
Dishes for you.
She would. I don't think they'd be sanitary for me to use afterwards, but she would for sure.
You have enough Clorox in your house.
I do have a lot of Clorox wipes right now. Because I take them to school. So
yeah,
there is that. Between that and alcohol wipes, I spend a lot of money all the time.
But you don't have COVID.
Not yet. Not that I'm aware of. I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. So that is, I did knit a couple rows on my other socks that live in my book bag, but nothing to write home about the bad guy socks, and I haven't worked on the cowl at all. So this was my main thing, but it looks like you have some finished objects.
I do. They're finished sewing objects, but they are
cool.
finished. So the first is an ostomy bag cover. My younger sister has had an ileostomy bag for, God, I don't know, 15 years. And I didn't know that bag covers were a thing until late last year. And so I've made her a couple, and I'm keep tweaking the pattern until I can get it exactly the way that works for her particular appliance. But this one is closer, but there's still more. So there is profanity on this fabric. So heads up. and the fabric was actually sent to me by Vicky because she's lovely.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't want you to know she's lovely.
It's a secret.
So this is the back part, and this is the part that would go against her skin. So it's got a little section here where she can check the output of the bag. It's this is where she would put the bag in, and I've got this fold over elastic up here, and then I've got these buttonholes here where she can put through the elastic belt that she uses to keep it from weighing down. So I'm still not super happy with it. I want to change a couple things about how high, like where certain parts of the pattern meet. But I mean, it's an improvement. Each one's a little better than the one before. So that's one thing that I finished. And then the other thing that I finished was a Versa cami. So this was one I showed a couple of weeks ago. I showed it because it was frustrating me because I was trying to
you needed to rip out a whole bunch.
Yeah, I was trying to use fold over elastic that was 5/8 of an inch rather than 1 inch. So it was like I was trying to fiddly mess with this super tiny folded over elastic, and it just wasn't working. So instead of ripping it out, I just used some 1 inch elastic and went right over the top of it because
I think that's perfect.
When you're sewing a knit fabric and you want your stitches to be elastic, you use an elastic, like a special zigzag stitch on your machine. And like a regular zigzag stitch, if you're going from left to right to left, that's only 3 points where the needle goes into the fabric. But with a stretchy stitch, it's like 10. Because it does it in little sections so that it'll stretch easier. So I was not going to rip all that out. So I just put 1 inch elastic over the top of it, and I did a stretchy zigzag at the bottom. Probably next time I'll do it slightly different because I just don't particularly like the finish on that. I'll probably do I'll serge the bottom of it maybe and then fold it up. We'll see. But this is a camisole that's got a built-in shelf bra.
Nice.
So I specifically ordered it called for just that flimsy fold over elastic, and maybe that works if you have a smaller chest. It does not work for me. So I got some like 1 inch braided elastics and like actual elastic to line it with.
Cool. Have you tried it on yet?
I have. I've actually worn it. It's a little bit snug because when I cut the fabric, so it's called Versa Cami, and you can get it at Stitch Upon a Time, which is in our show notes. Our show notes are on our website, which is TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com. I'm not affiliated with Stitch Upon a Time. I just like their patterns, but it's really reasonable. It's like $9, and you can get from extra small up to like 4 or 5X. And there's like nursery add-ons if you're a maternity,
Oh, cool.
so you can like fold it down or whatever. And of course, the shelf bra is optional. It's got features where you can like add a ruched side to it. Their patterns are great, really good value stuff. But when I cut the pattern, I thought this fabric had a lot more stretch than it does. I mean, it is stretchy, but it's not quite as stretchy as I thought it was. And so it's a lot snugger than I would like it to be for everyday wear. So it's fine for like underneath something. Yeah. But the next time I cut it, I'll cut it a size up if the fabric isn't super stretchy. But yeah, it's I think I got the fabric at Joann's. I think it's just a knit.
You probably have some more of those knits in your stash that you could use up. Or do you not?
Like fabric?
Yeah, like knit fabric.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do. With sewing, it's not it's more of like I have so many things I want to do that I don't want to do the same thing again. I want to do something different.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's what I've been working on. And I don't have any spinning because it's at your house and it still needs to be
It is.
flat.
I almost grabbed it. So I finished my headband from last week, and I think I finished that on the podcast.
You
so I
did.
don't think that I need to show it again because it hasn't moved at all. I didn't grab anything. So I had been long drawing bats on my match list from Knit Spin Farm. I finished those. I finished some other stuff that I showed you guys last week. The main thing that I've been working on this week, I didn't bring over because it's really flyaway. I took a class a couple weeks ago with it's called the Organized Spinner with Alana Wilcox, and it was a really interesting class because the way she does stuff is much differently than I do stuff, and it's always good to get different people's perspectives on things.
And
But
it can
one
be
thing that she
very
said,
like inspirational to see
oh yeah,
different people. You can take a lot of inspiration from that. Sorry,
absolutely.
Go ahead.
And one thing that I really took from her class is she talks about like using up those precious fibers, not just leaving them to sit somewhere for a long period of time. So a couple months back, Rebecca from Spotted U Fibers had sent me some 100% cashmere to spin.
Ooh.
And it had been, I know, it was 2 ounces. She does lovely cashmere, and it had been sitting in my stash because I was like, I don't know how I want to spin this. So I called my expert, who is Jillian Marino. And if you can ever take a class with her, I highly recommend it. And I was like, Jillian, I want to spin this, but I don't know how. And so she recommended From the Folds, as did a bunch of other people, including Becca. And so I decided to do it on my match list because I feel like I have a lot of control with a treadle wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And I always go to a treadle wheel first. There's some places like at my desk right here where a treadle wheel won't fit. So that's when I use an e-wheel. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to treadle a treadle wheel. So for me, that's always kind of my number one preference, except when it comes to plying. Yeah. I love using an electric wheel for plying.
And long draw, right? Like you prefer.
No, no, I do not like long drawing on an electric wheel at all.
No, that's what I meant. Like you prefer a treadle wheel for that.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
That's where sorry.
I cut you off.
No, it's fine.
So I thought I knew what you were saying. No, I don't mind spinning worsted on an electric wheel, but when you're feeding in a large amount of fiber at once on an electric wheel, when you do it when you are using a treadle wheel, you kind of you speed up your feet usually to get it to pull on more.
And you do it subconsciously, like you don't even necessarily realize.
Yeah, but with an electric wheel, you're not able to do that. That being said, I use my electric wheels a lot because some days I'm tired from work and don't feel like treading. Or I'm sitting here talking to people on Zoom and it's right here and I don't have to move. So the way I'm spinning the cashmere is I've broken it up into small chunks. I'm spinning it from the fold over my finger. I'm spinning it long draw, and I've set up the match list in double drive. And I'm using a smaller whirl to really get that twist in there because cashmere is super short fiber. So if you don't have enough twist, it's just going to fly away. And it really wants to fly away just like by existing. It's a really like slick fiber that wants to fly because it's teeny tiny. It's about the same staple length as cotton. So it needs a lot of twist and it needs to be happy. And it and I are still finding our happy spot. I don't know that like cashmere is a fiber that I am going to enjoy spinning in the future. And I've actually never knit with 100% cashmere before. So I'm excited to give this. Yeah, I have some in the stash. Again, I need to knit that up. That might be something that I cast on this week. But I have not. But another precious fiber that's been in my stash is our friend Knit Spin Farm. So some really different breeds that she dyes as top. So this was a braid of top, and it was 4 ounces of horned Dorset, which I've never spun before. And I started plying it this afternoon. And this was spun on my Sparrow, which is the wheel that's in front of me. It's by Daedalus. It's a nice little wheel. And so I 3-plied it. I had a lot of twists in the singles. So there's a lot of twists in this because I originally was going to make this sock yarn. So we'll see how thick it comes out and how many yards I have. But yeah, so that's there. It still needs to be wound off the bobbin. And I actually have 2 more bobbins of singles that, oh, I forgot that I put the Tensy Tamers on my Lazy Kate because there was so much twist. Everything was twisting up on each other. And it was like a twist party. Like this. This is a twist party.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to stop. So I have some left over on the bobbins still to ply as well. And I might do 2 chain plies versus trying to do a bracelet ply just because there's so much twist. It might be annoying.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. Plus, it's a fair amount. Like it's not just like 5 yards.
This would be the bracelet, and then me grab my acre Kate. That's how much is left on the other one. Yeah. So yeah, I might just chain ply those 2. But yeah, they've been this has been not a good plying experience for me, but I don't know. I think it's just so much twist that I put in. It's just being really grumpy and I'm getting pigtails and I'm being grumpy with it because my patience is kind of low because we have picture day at school today.
Which means they take over your library.
Yeah, and we're getting this ice storm in, so I had kids paying for devices, and I rushed to get them their devices because if we're out for a couple days and they do still have power, I want them to be able to do their school work. Yeah. Because if we miss one day, it's like a weather day. But if we miss 2 in a row, the second one they get on Schoology and do their work distance-wise, if they have the ability.
I know it's frustrating for you, but it's actually reassuring for me that you still have days where your spinning just does not cooperate. Like, I get that it's frustrating and that's a valid feeling, and I'm certainly not trying to take away from the way that you feel, but you are such a prolific spinner that I am reassured that you have your bad days as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do have things, especially when it's like first time with a fiber or on a wheel for the first time. And this little wheel and I are still getting to know each other. Like I've only spun a pound on it. Yeah. So we're still in that getting to know each other phase. It's a cute, nice little wheel. Like it works really, really well.
And it's super quiet. You were plying on it earlier and I didn't even know.
Yeah, it is pretty quiet. It's not as quiet as the Starling, but it is very quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably should have plied it on the Starling thinking about it because that's got a larger bobbin, but it's fine. It's all good. It fit on that bobbin, even though at some points I had to hand winch because also I am terrible at evenly putting things on bobbins. Like it would be much nicer looking and feel much nicer if I would actually move my hook.
Yeah, well, it's because Laura gets spoiled with her woolly winder. When it comes to plying, at least.
And I don't like moving my hook, or I forget.
Well, I don't know if it's that so much as like you get in a zone with your plying. Like you crank the speed and the tension up on and you just go to town. Like, so.
When I do ply,
yeah,
which I try not to.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get like 4 ounces plied a week. So anyway, that's going to count. One of my goals is to spin like something from Knit Spin Farm because I'm in her club, something from Hello Yarn, and something from Into the World every month. So that club's not just coming in and sitting there. So this is older, like that still counts.
Yeah.
So that's my Knit Spin Farm spin for the month. Although I also have some bats to apply. And I might spin some of her bats more. But next up is going to be some Hello Yarn or some Into the World. I haven't decided yet. It depends. I need to find something that Eloise wants to knit because she has some hand spun that I spun her last year that she wants to combine for one of the Slip Stitch Cows by Andrea Mowry.
Yeah.
So I need to find like a nice neutral to spin
A
for her to
contrast.
fine with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I don't know if you possess neutrals.
I have some neutrals from clubs. And also I want to spin for another friend of ours who's always really sweet to me. So one of my other goals is to give away 16 skeins of hand spun this year. So I have one set aside to give away to our friend Holly. But she's probably going to get another one as well. She asked for blues, and I spun it. She wanted sport weight, and I spun it to a fingering. So she'll get that, and then I'll do another one that's more sport weight. I mean, I have so much hand spun at this point that I don't mind spinning. Spinning is like my zen.
Yeah.
So I don't mind spinning for other people at all, especially if they're, close friends.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give random strangers hand spun probably.
They probably wouldn't appreciate it. They'd probably be like,
Probably.
why are you giving me this fluffy thing?
You throwing this thing at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to give more away this year. So I'm trying to give away like 16 presents, 16 hand spun.
That's a
Knit
good
up
goal.
16 things of hand spun. Yeah. The number 16 is popping up a lot in my life. Well, it is like a pound.
Yeah, that's true.
So, if you do that times 16 times 4 ounces would be 4 pounds.
I just tried to do
Anyway.
that math in my head, and I was like, nope, that's not going to happen.
Although what I'm knitting right now is 8 ounces, so throwing it off.
What have you been reading?
Oh, I did not update that. I finished Diamond Fire and started. I did not update that at all. I started the next one, which is I think Emeralds. Let me look.
Emerald Blaze.
I think
And
so.
The last one
Let's
is
see.
Sapphire Flames.
No, Sapphire Flames is the second one, and Emerald Blaze must be the last one. Yeah. So I'm reading Sapphire Flames by Alana Andrews. It is a male-female romance with some, I don't know, mystery elements to it, action adventure.
Yeah, it's kind of paranormal.
Yeah, and then like people have magic powers.
Yeah.
That is genetically passed down. And then I finished a Rebecca Steed middle grade book called List of Things That Will Not Change. It is about a girl whose parents got divorced when she was 8, and they give her a notebook called The List of Things That Will Not Change. And so she writes things in her notebook. She has some anxiety issues and some other issues, and now she's 10 and she is going to counseling for some of those issues. And now she's 10 and her father is remarrying his boyfriend. And so it's about family and the importance of family, but also there is this moment where something happens and you're like, oh, and it also talks about forgiveness and the power of forgiveness and what that can do for you. So I really, really enjoyed it. It's a middle grade book, which means like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, maybe up to 7th. But the main protagonist is 10. I feel like she acted a little bit young for her age, but overall, a super quick, good read. There is some points where people do not treat the father and his boyfriend very kindly because of their relationship. So just like a trigger warning for that as well. And it's more like she doesn't understand why people would treat them that way.
Yeah.
So it's not it doesn't become a big thing, but if that is a trigger for you, if homophobia is a trigger for you, then maybe give this one a pass. But yeah, that is about it for me for reading. What have you been reading?
I am reading Megan Durr, Derr. I don't know if Durr is the right way to say it. Dare, I don't know. I'm reading a book called The Engineered Throne. It's part of a series. It's male fantasy. It's the first in the series, and I started reading it last year, and then for some reason stopped, and I can't remember why. And so I restarted it last night. It's a good book, and I like Megan Durr a lot. So I'm not. I must have something new must have come out, and I must have popped over to check it out, and then forgot to come back to it.
Yeah.
So I'm reading that, and I'm re-listening to the Kate Daniels series by Alona Andrews, it's a husband-wife writing team, and it's a male-female paranormal romance series. I'm on the 10th book, which is the last book in this series. And then they released the audio book of Blood Air, which is the first in
They
the
did.
Julie series. So
It
when I'm
was
done,
independently done, so I'll be interested to hear
yeah,
how
yeah.
it is.
I mean, I'll pay for it and support Alana Andrews anyway because
Yeah,
I loved their writing.
absolutely.
But
Are you gonna go back and re-listen to the other spin-off series?
The Edge?
No, that's not spun off of that. That's spun off of Innkeeper. Diambre. Hugh
Oh,
Diambre.
there's only one book out in the series. No,
The
there's two.
second one's coming out this
Okay.
year.
Yeah, I've read and listened to that one
I didn't
before.
know if you're gonna go back to that one.
I might. I mean, while I'm on an Alana Andrews kick, I want to sort of go through all of them.
Yeah.
I like the Edge series, but I tend to like the first two books better than the last two books.
Yeah.
I just like the protagonists in them better. Um, and then of course there's Innkeeper, which I love.
Yeah. I like the Assassin series too. Have
Yeah.
you read that one?
Yes, I'm rereading the second in that. I should have put that on there. Silent Blade is the first one. I can't remember what the second one is. What is that one called? Anyway, Alana Andrews, you can find links to these books in our show notes. Again, show notes are at theknitgirls.com. So under favorite things, I have crafting goals because you wanted to talk about our goals for this year.
Oh, I totally left my book in the other room. Can I go get it? Are
Yes,
you fine with
please.
that?
Because I have
Okay.
a huge book of stuff that I want to.
Okay, you start, and I'll
No,
be
because I want to
listening because
show
my
you.
headphones. Oh,
So
okay.
go.
Then don't start. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
it's top
Hey, Pearl.
secret. So
Yeah, we haven't discussed this really yet.
yeah, usually Laura and I chat about stuff between ourselves before we talk about it on the podcast. But
I bought some new stickers to go on my notebook, so I'm going to open them up
ooh,
because they came today. Boom. Because right now I just have the "Hello, go away, I'm reading" sticker. I gave you a sticker too, the
you
tea water.
did. It's on my thing.
Ha ha ha. Pearl is very interested in what I'm opening. All right, tell me what you're doing. I want to see. I'm back.
Okay, so I'll go first then. Okay. So I don't typically make a lot of specific goals because what I want to craft changes by the day, sometimes by the hour. Um, so this year, what I decided to do was I wanted to just sort of keep a record of some of the crafting that I've done. Since I don't really use social media anymore because it's too stressful for me, I decided I would keep, instead of a scrapbook, I would keep a craft book. So I just went and got a simple spiral bound or coil bound sketchbook, and I made sort of an intro page. You can do anything but not everything. And
Look at your little picture.
I put a little picture of me and Kobe from New Year's Eve.
Oh.
And I'm just going to try to keep track, not of everything, but of some of the things that I did. So I started with books, like books worth rereading.
Yeah.
Um, So
Cute.
the only one on there right now is Blood Air by Alana Andrews. Because I read a lot, but not everything's worth rereading.
Yeah.
For me. There's a lot that's I haven't really gotten filled in yet, but there's like some things I want to try this year.
Yeah.
Here, so on there so far is pottery, watercolor, some sketching and journaling. I want to do some more reverse applique. I want to use my Cricut more. I want to do hand lettering, which is the thing we're going to do on one of our Patreon fail-alongs. I want to sew some rope bowls, and I want to do more weaving.
Yes. Cool.
So that's
Those
another
are all
thing.
good goals.
I've left some empty pages to add stuff in later. And I want to start keeping track of some of the projects that I do. So as an example, this is the crochet blanket of doom.
I love that. Yeah.
So I, made little notes on what I did, and I took a picture. I got this little it's a Polaroid derivative, or Fujifilm, that's what it is. But they produce like Polaroid like pictures, so the ink is in the paper. So I got this project page, I think on Etsy. It's like what's it called? Template. And so I just filled in some information about the project. I kept some of the ends to put in here and just glued them down. And then I've started making a list for February, and I'm just jotting down like what craft I worked on that day, if I worked on a craft at all.
Oh, cool.
Nice. And then the only other thing in here right now is I got these little kits from an Etsy shop called Lavender Chai, and it's in the show notes. And they come with this little piece of watercolor paper, and it's taped off on the edges, and it comes with ink. These are little dots of watercolor ink or paint. And there aren't like tutorials on how to recreate the paintings, which I wish there were, but using the picture from the listing, you can try to, recreate. This one is for mountains, so it's got a lot of darker colors. So I got 5 total kits, and they're cheap. Like this was $5, I think.
Yeah.
And I got 5 total, but I've done 4 of them.
Oh, wow.
So
look
this
at those.
one was supposed to be a beach, but it ended up being just a bunch of colors that ran together. This one I'm actually kind of proud of. This one's like a sunset, and it's got
I like it.
Trees and people, little strawberries, and some leaves floating in a pond.
Cool.
So
pretty cool.
I wish I was a really good painter, but I'm not. But I'm just going to do it anyway.
Practice. Yeah, and you get better with practice.
And, as much as I like looking through old pictures, I thought it might be fun to be able to pull this out in 10 years and look back at some of the things that I've done. So, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'll add pages if necessary by just like taping them into existing pages or whatever. I didn't want to be too precious about it.
Or you could do a new one every year, like a new.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully I'll fill it up, and I'll continue to do them. But if I need to add pages in later or whatever, there are ways to do that. So,
do you want to see my stickers that I got?
Always. I almost bought some stickers today, but I did not.
I'm bad about this, but
I was like, you're 40 years old. You do not need a pack of stickers. So.
Oh, I spent $20 on stickers the other day. I follow Book Riot, and they posted like gifts for literary lovers, and it was like for kids, and I was like, I like stickers. So this is Paperfly Products. They're on Etsy. They have a bunch of different things, including like pencils and just different gear. It says literary gifts for book lovers. And so the one that drew me to their site is this little like story time sticker.
That's cute.
So that's cute. And then I found the practice safe text, use commas, and never miss a period.
Yeah. I like that.
And that made me laugh. And so that made me laugh a whole bunch. And then I got a little llama reading books and drinking coffee.
Oh, that's a very fancy llama.
I know, right? That's a very Laura llama. And then the love with the books.
Oh.
So I thought they were super cute. So I'm going to decorate with that. My goals for the year, and I like to misspell things when I write them.
I mean, if you're gonna
Which is
do
my
it,
favorite thing.
do it live.
For some reason, the word items I like to add an A. I don't know why. I just do. So I want to gift 12 items over the course of the year. I've gifted one already. I want to gift 16 skeins of hand spun. I want to decrease my overall total stash by 24 skeins. I want to knit 16 items out of hand spun, and I've done 2, but I haven't filled out a page for February yet. I want to spin 15 pounds of fiber, and I've spun over 1 already. I want to finish 3 spinning whips that have been around for a while. I have some that have been around for a very long time. I have 3 fleeces that need to be washed. I want to prep and spin one of those fleeces, or one of the fleeces that I already have washed that are just sitting in their big giant plastic bags.
Mm-hmm.
I want to knit 5 sweaters. I've already completed 1. I want to knit 15 pairs of socks. I've already done 2. That includes like cranked tubes. I want to complete 3 whips of knitting. I already finished 1, and those were my long-term whips, the socks that I finished that I had started back in Halloween. I want to work at least 1 row on Even Star, just to get it out and work on it. I want to knit a hand-spun sweater at some point. And I want to knit 15 baby knits for gifting or my box. Okay, my dog is ridiculous. She just brought me her giant bone and threw it at me.
She has a bone?
Like this thing.
Oh, okay. Her like
Her giant
treat
bone.
dispensing
Yeah,
thing.
treat dispensing bone. And there it's like really, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's also filled with her hair. And it's got a treat inside of it. And she loves for it to be thrown. It's the only toy that and her ball that she plays with. Like, that's it.
And it's only because they give out food.
Yeah. So, as I'm finishing projects, I've been printing out. I have a Canon Pearl, that's my booty. Why are you hitting it with your boat? I have a Canon selfie printer. So it does basically the same thing that Leslie's does, but it uses ink. So I put in a picture of the Knit Spin Farm socks that I finished last month, the hat that I knit, the Tin Can Knits Hipster that I gifted.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also writing who I gifted it to. And then I also took a picture of my hand spun. I still have to take a picture of my finished Halloween socks and put them in here. Mine only came with 3 sheets of paper. So I used those 3 sheets, and now I'm waiting on more. I'm also doing an in and out. So like last month, even though some of these were bought in December, I had 4 skeins of fingering come in from Neighborhood Fiber Company in the Stacey Abrams colorway.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 skeins of the Kamala Harris colorway come in, 1 skein of Knit Spin Farm, which was my club, and then 3 skeins of Nomadic. So that totals to 10 skeins came in, but I had 13 skeins leave for the Row and Cotton Rope collection. Oh my goodness. Y'all want a dog? I've got one for sale cheap. 1 skein of my Spotted Circus alpacas hand spun that I used for that hipster hat. 1 skein of Kirby Werby for the Halloween socks, and 1 skein of Knit Spin Farm left. So total 16 left and 10 came in. So overall, not too bad.
Can you, with your goals, can you double dip? Like if
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
knit a hand spun hat and give it away, is that 2 things off your list?
Yeah. Or if I knit all my hand spun into baby gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I've made some strides in the last month towards finishing stuff. Now I have a dog throwing stuff at me. Where did it go? Look, also like her fur. Do you see how big of a chunk of fur that is?
It's like
Now
a lock of what's that curly one that you use for tails?
for tailspun?
Yeah,
Wensleydale?
or like Cotswold or
Right.
something.
Go get it. Go get it. Now she's like, you should pet me. I
Yeah,
don't know why I would go anyplace else
I'm done with that,
when you
Mom.
could be petting me.
We're golden here.
Silliness. But yeah, no, I can totally double dip. And I used to track everything really, really well when I was doing Harry Potter House Cup because like there were points and stuff involved, and I kind of like got away from that. And also like I've gotten away from Ravelry in general. Like I get on there much less than I used to. So yeah, I think it's fun to have a bullet journal and do stuff as well.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know about you, but I like having a physical book where I can say, you know, yeah, I spend all my time crafting, but look at what I've done. Like, look at the things that I've made.
And it's also great to put notes in that you want to go back to later. Like I take classes, I put notes in there, and other things. And I have another notebook that's just like reading for this.
Mm-hmm.
So like I write down the project lit list, and then I try to get through them, but then I do a page that's like notes and quotes and stuff from that I like from that book. So that I have that on hand. It's like a visual notebook for books.
Yeah.
A visual Goodreads, I guess. So yeah. But yeah.
I just want to try, like, I get a lot of, like, I hear you trying to sign off. You're just going to have to sit here for a minute.
I was trying to close like my father always closes. Okay, so nice talking to you. Bye.
Yeah, like it's a business meeting. No, I just, like, I start a lot of things with enthusiasm, and then like something newer and shinier comes along, and I'm like, oh, well, now I'm excited about this. And so because of that, I get gun shy about starting anything that has like a recurring, like something that I have to do over and over, like a daily sort of obligation.
Yeah.
Like a bullet journal is something I've shied away from before, but I'm hoping with this, like, I can not be so precious about it, and I can just be like, you know what? Yeah, I've gone 3 days without putting anything in it, and it's fine. And now I'm just going to pick it up and sketch something, and maybe it'll be terrible, and maybe that'll be awesome, and I can, you know, look back on it in a few years and be like, look at how terrible I used to be at this, or whatever. I don't know.
So well trained not to like jump on people. I just had to physically pick her up to put her on my lap.
She is very good. Like she'll get up on her hind legs and like and put her nose close to you, but she won't actually put her body on you.
Also, she hates it when people touch her paws. So I was just touching her paws to get her up, and she was like, "Nope."
That's a good way to get her off of you. If she was somebody who like climbed on you, would be like,
oh yeah. No, when she's on the bed and I don't want her on the bed, I continually touch her paws until she gets off the bed. When she like gets in my spot on the bed and won't like she takes the whole freaking bed.
Yeah.
So mean. But now she wants all the cuddles.
I'll let you close it out like a business meeting. 3, 2, 1, go.
Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week. We do have to schedule some Patreon events. You can always find us on Patreon, and thank you guys so much for your support. And I think that's about it. I'm going to say goodbye. So bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.